Imagine a guy, right, just staring directly into a camera lens.
Okay.
He's broadcasting live to, like, thousands of people.
Oh.
And he is aggressively, and I mean aggressively, bragging about how insanely rich he is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's pointing at the screen, he's flexing his status, and literally calling his own audience poor, like straight up calling them bitches and hoes.
And I bet in the midst of all this, he's probably proclaiming himself the undisputed king of the internet.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It is this massive theatrical display of just, digital wealth and absolute dominance. But then, in the exact same breath, on that exact same live stream, he casually confesses to stealing glass cups from Walmart.
Which completely breaks your brain the first time you hear it. I mean, it's just...
It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. You have this towering projection of elite, untouchable status, right? And it collides instantly with an unprompted confession of, like, petty retail theft.
Yeah, it's the kind of contradiction that makes you just stop scrolling immediately. And that is exactly what we are doing today for this deep dive. We are taking a deep dive into the wildly complex, highly polarizing, and undeniably fascinating world of Dion Anderson.
A name that carries an enormous amount of weight, honestly.
Oh, for sure. Though you listening probably know him better by his online moniker, Daryl Supah, or Daryl Supah.
Right. And that name generates a massive amount of noise across, like, several different corners of the digital landscape.
It really does. And the mission of our deep dive today is to really deconstruct this high-energy internet personality. Because if you just look at a 10-second clip on your feed, it just looks like pure chaos,
It looks like a guy yelling in his room.
Yeah, exactly. But when you examine the architecture behind it, the business structures, the platform mechanics, the psychology of his audience, you realize this is like a masterclass in modern attention economics.
It's totally by design.
Yeah. We are going to explore how Daryl Supah built a fully independent media ecosystem. We're going to look at the incredibly volatile mechanics of the platforms he uses to broadcast. And maybe most importantly, we are going to look at the surprising moments of serious, real-world community advocacy that completely complicate his controversial image.
Because what we are unpacking here isn't just a biography. I mean, it is a real-time study in how controversy, gossip, and unfiltered access have basically become the primary currency of the digital age.
Trying to explain Daryl Supah's online world to someone who has never seen it is, it's really tough. I was trying to think of the right way to visualize it for you listening, and the closest thing I could come up with is walking into a digital coliseum.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right. But the emperor giving the thumbs up or thumbs down isn't a person in a toga, It's an algorithm.
Wow, yeah.
And the algorithm doesn't care if the crowd is cheering or booing. Okay. It only measures the sheer volume of the noise.
Because the algorithm is completely agnostic to sentiment. It just wants friction.
Exactly. It wants engagement. And Supah realized early on that getting the crowd to throw tomatoes pays exactly the same as getting them to throw roses.
Often it pays more, honestly.
Yeah, probably. You step into his stream, and it is incredibly loud. It is fiercely competitive. The audience isn't just sitting in the bleachers. They are down in the sand. They're part of the fight.
They're in the arena with him.
Yes. And right in the center is Daryl Supah. And you never quite know if he's going to throw gold coins into the crowd or, like, turn around and hurl a spear at them.
But controlling that kind of chaotic energy requires infrastructure. I mean, before we get into the shouting and the Walmart cups, we really have to look at the architecture of the business he's built.
Because it's not an accident.
Right. He isn't just turning on a camera and hoping for the best.
So walk me through that infrastructure. Because I think the default assumption is that people who act erratic online are just erratic people behind the scenes. Like they just hit go live and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, that's the illusion of the creator economy. The most successful chaotic creators are actually highly organized.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Daryl Supah is managing multiple ventures simultaneously. He's got this deeply entrenched multi-platform presence. Like, he uses TikTok for algorithmic discovery and live battles.
Which is huge right now.
Huge. And then he uses Discord to maintain a 247 engagement loop with his core fans. And then his primary stronghold, where he generates his most intense interactions, is on a platform called Go Live, operating under the official ID Daryl Supah.
I want to pause on Discord for a second because I think a lot of people, They still view Discord as just a place where gamers talk to each other while playing video games.
Right, like an old chat room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for a creator like Supah, it functions completely differently, right? It's not just a casual chat room.
Not at all. Think of Discord as a holding pen for the most rabid fans between live streams.
A holding pen. I love that.
Because when a live stream ends on TikTok or Barrio, that immediate synchronous connection is severed.
Right. The show is over.
Historically, a creator would just lose their audience until they decided to broadcast again. They'd just go back to their lives. But a Discord server operates asynchronously. It's a 247 ecosystem.
So they never really leave.
Exactly. The fans are in there talking to each other, dissecting the last stream, building alliances, forming cliques, and hyping themselves up for the next broadcast.
It essentially creates an echo chamber.
Precisely. It creates a highly condensed cultural bubble. And inside that server, Supah is the absolute center of the universe.
Okay, so how does he weaponize that when he goes live?
Well, so when he finally does go live, he isn't starting from scratch and trying to warm up a cold room. He sends a push notification to his Discord, and instantly a flood of primed, highly engaged viewers pours into the broadcast.
Oh, wow. They just rush in.
Yeah, they bring the inside jokes, they bring the established drama, and they bring their wallets. It's an audience retention tool that keeps the parasocial relationship active, even when he is literally sleeping.
That is incredibly smart. So you have the digital side lockdown, you have the discovery on TikTok, the monetization on Bigargo, the retention on Discord, but he also has a physical merchandise arm.
He does.
It's called the BSK Wrong Collection. And I find this fascinating because his entire persona is built on these fleeting, ephemeral digital moments.
Right.
Why go through the massive logistical headache of manufacturing physical hoodies or T-shirts? I mean, dealing with shipping and returns.
Because a physical product grounds a digital persona. The internet is inherently slippery, right?
What do you mean by slippery?
Like, a TikTok live battle happens, people yell, virtual gifts are thrown, and then it's gone forever. It disappears into the ether.
Unless someone screen records it.
Sure, but even then, it's just pixels. By creating the BSK Wrong collection, he is anchoring that digital chaos into the physical world.
Oh, I see. It makes the parasocial relationship tangible.
Yes, exactly. There is a psychological concept called the endowment effect. When we physically own something, we value it more highly.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you are a viewer, throwing a virtual digital rose at a screen feels good for like 3 seconds. But wearing a piece of clothing with your favorite creator's branding on it, that integrates them into your daily identity.
You literally walk out your front door wearing it.
Exactly. It transforms a passive viewer into a committed customer, and a committed customer into a walking billboard. Plus, on a purely financial level, it diversifies his income.
Right, because he isn't solely reliant on platform payouts or virtual tipping.
Which can be incredibly volatile. Platforms change rules all the time.
They really do.
Oh.
But controlling the brand is one thing. Controlling the gossip about yourself only works if you're actually generating gossip to begin with.
And he certainly does that.
Yeah, and this brings us to what I think is the most brilliant and maybe the most cynical part of his entire business ecosystem. The merch is one thing, but he also manages something called the Gossip Girls.
Oh, this is fascinating.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, this is an entertainment tea page. For you listening who might not be deep into internet slang, tea is gossip. It's the drama, the rumors, the behind-the-scenes pop culture discourse. And Dario Supah runs his own page for it.
This is where we see the absolute genius of his narrative control.
Genius, really.
Think about it. Historically, a celebrity or an internet personality relied on third-party blogs, magazines, or massive YouTube drama channels to talk about them.
Right.
You did something crazy and you waited for TMZ or whoever to cover it. You were completely at the mercy of their editorial spin, their timing, and their monetization.
You were just the subject of the news, not the publisher.
Exactly. But Dario Supah is a highly polarizing, controversial creator. His career is constantly subjected to unsubstantiated allegations and rumors in various online tea channels. That is just the reality of his brand.
So he just leans into it.
Yeah. Rather than fighting a defensive war against external gossip sites, he creates his own. He curates the gossip. He curates the pop culture discourse.
So he gets to decide what gets amplified.
By doing this, he positions himself as the central node of his own media network. He doesn't wait for other blogs to distribute the drama. He controls the distribution of the drama himself.
Hold on, I have to push back on this. I don't buy that it works perfectly.
Why not?
Because if he is the subject of the rumors himself, Running the gossip page destroys all credibility, doesn't it?
Not in this space.
But who would follow a gossip page run by the very person it's gossiping about? Isn't that a massive conflict of interest? I mean, if a traditional news anchor reported on their own personal scandals, they would be fired immediately.
See, you're thinking like a traditional journalist.
I mean, I guess. But still.
You're applying legacy media ethics to a space that actively rejects them. In the traditional media world, a conflict of interest destroys your credibility. But in the attention economy, credibility isn't the currency.
What is it?
Attention is. A conflict of interest is just a crossover episode. It drives more traffic.
A crossover episode.
Yeah.
That is such a wild way to look at it. Walk me through the mechanics of that. How does he actually benefit from posting his own drama?
Okay, let's say a rumor starts about Supah. If a rival blog posts it, they get the clicks, they get the ad revenue, and they control the framing.
Right.
If the Gossip Girls posts it, a few things happen. First, the audience knows he's behind the page, which makes the post itself a meta-commentary.
Oh, so it becomes like an inside joke.
Exactly. Fans flock to the comments to see if he's trolling, if he's confessing, or if he's setting up a rival. It drives immense engagement. Second, it captures the monetization of his own haters.
Oh, wow. Monetizing the detractors.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Think about it. If a viewer actively dislikes Supah, they are never going to tune into his Bigo stream and send him a virtual gift, right?
Definitely not.
And they won't buy his merch. But they will absolutely click on a juicy gossip article about him.
Because they want to see him fail.
Yes. They will spend 5 minutes reading a post about his latest controversy, generating ad impressions and engagement metrics for the page. He is essentially capturing the financial upside of the people who hate him.
You don't fight the paparazzi. You buy the camera and take pictures of yourself. That is a completely closed ecosystem.
It really is.
But having that level of control over a brand page is one thing. The true engine of this whole operation, the thing that actually generates the raw material for the T-pages and the merch sales, is how he interacts with his fans in real time.
The live streams.
Yeah. Supah's primary engine isn't a blog post, it's the live stream. And that is where the direct-to-audience double-edged sword really starts swinging.
And it swings wildly. I mean, the broadcasts are described as candid, unfiltered, direct-to-audience, and exceptionally high energy.
They sound exhausting to watch, honestly.
They are intense. These aren't polished, scripted, heavily edited YouTube videos. This is raw, live interaction. It's pop culture discussions mixed with heavy entertainment segments. And the inherent friction comes from the fact that this unfiltered, direct line of communication leads inevitably to online disputes.
Disputes almost feels like too polite a word, honestly. Because we aren't just talking about him defending himself against trolls.
No, not at all.
He doesn't just argue with his haters, he actively argues with his own supporters. This is the paradox of bashing the audience.
Which is fascinating.
Let's go back to that opening image we talked about. He is on live, bragging about being rich, pointing at the camera, calling his viewers poor, calling them bitches and hoes.
It's a remarkable psychological study, truly. This isn't just someone having a bad day and snapping at a rude commenter. This is a consistent structural element of his persona.
It's his brand.
Yes. And the crucial question we have to answer is, why do the audiences stay?
That is the million-dollar question. If you turn on a television talk show and the host looks through the screen and insults your financial status, you change the channel.
You'd probably write a complaint letter, too.
Right. But in Daryl Supah's live streams, the audience stays. And they don't just stay, they engage.
Yeah.
They type in the chat, they send gifts.
Real money.
Yes. So why stick around for the abuse?
Yeah.
What is the psychological hook there?
It has everything to do with how our perception of authenticity has warped over the last decade.
Warped how?
Think about the mid-2010s internet. Everything was highly curated. Instagram grids were perfectly color coordinated. YouTube apologies were scripted, focus grouped, and PR approved.
Right. The classic sigh. Sit down on the floor and say, hey guys, I just wanted to hop on here and address the situation.
Exactly. Influencers started talking like corporate brand managers. It all felt incredibly sterile.
It really did. It felt fake.
The audience developed an allergy to polish. So when a creator logs on, ignores all the rules of public relations, and starts aggressively insulting the audience.
Throwing out wild confessions about stealing Walmart cups.
Yes, and exhibiting deeply toxic behavior, a significant portion of the audience interprets that toxicity as the ultimate form of authenticity.
Wait, really? Just because he's mean, they think he's real.
That's the subconscious logic. They think he's being so undeniably rude and messy, He must be being real. No manager would ever let him say this.
Wow. That makes an unsettling amount of sense. It's like toxic authenticity.
That's a good phrase for.
It's the illusion of intimacy through hostility. It really makes me think of professional wrestling.
Oh, the wrestling comparison is perfect here.
Right. Specifically, the role of the heel,
Yeah.
the bad guy. When you go to a WWE event and the heel grabs the microphone, walks into the center of the ring, and starts insulting the local sports team.
Or calls the crowd fat and lazy.
Exactly. The crowd boos furiously, but they love it. They're having the time of their lives. They didn't buy a ticket for a polite conversation. They bought a ticket to see someone get verbally body slammed.
They want the spectacle.
And the twist with Daryl Supah is that the audience is going to let themselves be the ones taking the hit.
That wrestling analogy is perfect because it highlights the interactive nature of the performance. In a live streaming environment, getting yelled at by the creator is still a form of being perceived by the creator.
And people just want to be seen.
I think about the isolation of the modern internet. People just want to be noticed. If you are a viewer typing in a chat room with 5,000 other people, you are invisible.
Just a username scrolling by.
But if Daryl Supah zeroes in on your specific comment, reads your username out loud, calls you poor, and drags you in front of thousands of people,
You have just become part of the show.
you have been chosen.
You've been perceived by the king.
Exactly. For a hyper-loyal community, that friction is a feature, not a bug. It builds a walled garden.
How so?
Because if you can't handle the insults, you leave. The people who stay are the thick-skinned loyalists, creating an incredibly tight-knit, albeit chaotic, core audience. It's almost a trauma-bonded viewership.
Trauma bonded. That is heavy, but it makes sense. I mean, think about your own scrolling habits for a second if you're listening to this. Have you ever found yourself watching a video you didn't even agree with? Or watching a creator who was clearly being obnoxious just because the sheer audacity of their behavior kept you hooked?
We all have.
Right. Supah has weaponized that exact instinct.
But he couldn't do it alone. This aggressive, unfiltered heel persona requires a specific ecosystem to thrive.
That's true.
I mean, if you act like this on LinkedIn, your account is suspended in an hour.
Yeah, LinkedIn is not the place for stealing Walmart cups.
And if you act like this on Pinterest, nobody cares. Supah's gladiatorial combat style is heavily incentivized by the specific architecture of the platforms he dominates, namely TikTok Live and, most importantly, BeGo Live.
Let's break down BeGo Live because I think a lot of people might be familiar with TikTok, but BeGo has a very specific flavor.
BeGo Live is a whole different beast. It is described as an environment that fosters a highly competitive live streaming space.
Competitive in what way?
Well, it is not designed for passive consumption. It is designed for active financial participation. And the key mechanisms driving that competition are virtual gifts and real-time ranking systems.
Walk me through the literal user interface. Like, what does it look like when you open the app?
Okay, so when you enter a stream, you often see a split screen. Supah is on one side and another broadcaster is on the other. They are engaging in a battle.
Okay, so it's a one-on-one format.
Right. Below them is a chat box scrolling at lightning speed. But the most important element on the screen is the visual representation of money.
The GIF.
The audience can purchase virtual gifts with real currency. These range from cheap items like a digital rose that costs a few cents to massive screen-dominating animations.
Like what?
Like a digital dragon or a sports car flying across the screen. And those can cost hundreds of real-world dollars.
Hundreds of dollars for a digital animation.
Yes. And as these gifts are sent, there are literal meters on the top of the screen tracking who is winning. It's a tug-of-war bar.
Oh, so it's literally gamified.
Entirely. If Supah's fans send a dragon, his bar pushes the other streamer's bar back.
It is the absolute gamification of human interaction.
And the psychological trick is that the viewer feels responsible for the creator's victory.
Because they literally are.
Right. You aren't just tipping someone for a good performance. You are buying ammunition for your team in a live war.
And the platform takes a significant cut of every single transaction.
A huge cut, which means the platform has a vested interest in the war escalating.
Because conflict drives revenue. If you were watching a polite conversation between two streamers, you might tap the screen a few times.
Maybe send a rose.
But streamer A insults streamer B's family, or calls streamer B's chat room broke.
Yeah.
The fans of streamer B are going to furiously buy virtual gifts just to prove streamer A wrong. Anger opens wallets faster than joy.
Exactly. We have to look at the reality of this specific ecosystem. Bigo Live, as a platform, has been the subject of numerous user-reported complaints concerning harassment, verbal abuse, and toxic interactions between streamers and
It
viewers.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Now, to be clear, these reports involve many users across the platform, not just Supah. It's a systemic issue.
It's the culture of the app.
Yes, it paints a picture of environment where high emotion, aggressive conflict, and toxicity are not just present, they are structurally common.
Because they're rewarded.
Yes. And how does Dariel Supah play this game? By being the most aggressive gladiator in the arena. He talks badly about other broadcasters across both platforms. He actively bashes other streamers while doing these live battles.
He's giving the platform exactly what it wants.
He is treating the platform exactly the way its economic model suggests it should be treated, as a battlefield. He understands that his job isn't to be liked. His job is to provoke a reaction.
And this brings us to the claims of status. Because he doesn't just participate in these battles, he claims absolute dominance over the entire ecosystem.
Right, he is not modest.
Not at all. He asserts boldly that nobody on the app can touch him. He says he gets the most views, nobody can compete with his metrics, and he is the undisputed king of Bigo.
Now, in the context of internet culture, everyone claims to be the king of something, right?
Right. Every rapper says they are the greatest alive. Every streamer says they run their category. It's standard bravado. It's just marketing.
But here's the massive twist in the story.
Okay.
According to the data, he didn't just claim the title. He didn't just give it to himself. He actually won the official title of King of Bigo.
That is staggering.
The platform officially recognized him.
Let's unpack the implications of that. Because we often sit around and talk about toxic internet behavior
Yeah.
as if it's a glitch in the matrix. We say, oh, it's terrible that the algorithms promote conflict. Someone should fix that.
Like it's a mistake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But winning the official title of King of Bigo proves that his aggressive, combative, unfiltered strategy is not a bug in the system. It is the core feature.
It is a mathematical validation of his behavior.
Absolutely.
The platform, this massive tech entity, looked at a creator who calls his audience poor, who argues with his own supporters, who relentlessly bashes other streamers.
And the algorithm calculated the metrics and decided, yes, this is our king.
Because he generates the most engagement, the most friction, the longest watch times, and therefore the most revenue.
I really want you, the listener, to think about this in the context of the apps you use every single day. The platforms where you get your news, your entertainment, your connection to the world.
Right. It's not just Bigo.
No. How often is the algorithm secretly, or in this case, completely openly, rewarding the loudest, most aggressive person in the room?
All the time.
And what does it mean for our culture when a multi-million-dollar tech platform officially crowns that person as royalty?
It means we have successfully turned interpersonal drama into a gamified spectator sport. The platform provides the digital coliseum, Supah provides the blood and the spectacle, and the audience provides the thumbs up and the credit card swipes.
It is a perfectly closed loop of attention economics.
Mhm.
He figured out exactly what the machine wanted, and he fed it.
But just when you think you have Dariel Supah completely figured out, just when you are ready to put him in a neat little box labeled chaotic internet troll who gamed the system, we hit a wall.
A huge wall. Because the source material reveals a completely different, highly serious, deeply profound layer to his public life.
And honestly, navigating this pivot is the hardest part of understanding who he is.
It is a severe pivot. Because beneath the persona of the Bigo King who brags about his wealth and pockets Walmart cups, there is a core of identity and advocacy that is undeniably real and incredibly impactful.
Tian Anderson is an openly LGBTQ+ creator, and he is not just passively open about his identity, he is an active, vocal participant in his community.
And he uses that massive, loud, controversial platform to address incredibly heavy, real-world issues.
Which is so unexpected given everything we just talked about.
I know. Specifically, he has publicly addressed the stigma surrounding HIV within the LGBTQ+ community. He actively challenges the harmful generalization that gay men are inherently associated with the virus.
Let's contextualize why this specific advocacy matters so much, especially coming from someone with his reach.
Please do.
The stigma surrounding HIV, particularly the generalized associations made about gay men, has deep, painful historical roots, going back to the epidemic's earliest days in the 1980s.
It was a horrific time.
And that stigma isn't just an abstract concept. It has caused immense real-world harm. It deters people from getting tested out of fear. It hinders access to care. It alienates individuals from their families and communities.
The fear of judgment is literally dangerous.
Exactly. To combat a stigma that entrenched requires immense bravery, and crucially, it requires a very loud megaphone to reach the people who need to hear it most.
The real Supah has the megaphone, and he used it in the most direct, visceral way possible. We aren't just talking about him writing a thoughtful text post or retweeting a public health infographic.
No, he went much further.
We're talking about a specific piece of video content where Dion Anderson is shown getting tested for HIV on camera and broadcasting that to his audience.
Now, we don't actually know the medical results of that test, and he didn't film this with a stated, written manifesto explaining his internal intent. But the sheer act of publishing the footage forces a massive, often resistant audience to confront the reality of public health.
This is the fascinating collision of these two worlds. Think about the profound vulnerability of broadcasting a medical test.
Mm-hmm.
An HIV test is an incredibly personal, often anxiety-inducing experience.
Waiting for that result is terrifying for many people.
To do that in front of an audience of thousands, to show people the physical process, completely demystifies it. It strips away the shadows. It tells his audience, look, this is normal. This is basic healthcare. We don't have to hide this.
That is powerful, life-saving advocacy.
But on the other hand, it is still content.
Exactly. This is where we have to synthesize the two halves of his persona.
Because it's hard to reconcile.
It really is. You have to contrast the petty, almost absurd drama, stealing the glass cups, the screaming matches on TikTok battles, with this profoundly serious act of public health advocacy.
But even the serious advocacy is filtered through his broadcaster lens, right?
Yes, the footage appeared on social media and YouTube, and interestingly, it was categorized under tags related to online broadcasting platforms and news entertainment commentary.
Oh, wow. So it's literally bundled with the gossip.
It happens within the same digital ecosystem where he calls people bitches and hoes. Healthcare becomes part of the content machine.
It really highlights the sheer complexity of human beings.
Yeah.
It is so easy to dismiss a creator who yells at their fans.
Very easy.
To look at a clip of him insulting someone on Beagle Live and say, oh, he's just a troll, he has no value to society, cancel him. But here is someone using that massive, hard-won, chaotic attention to highlight a major public health crisis.
It complicates the narrative entirely.
It does, and I really struggle with this, and I want your perspective on it. Does the good he does for HIV awareness excuse the toxic platform behavior? Or are we allowed to have heroes who are also internet villains?
That is the philosophical crux of the modern digital age, honestly. We desperately want people to be one thing.
We really do. It's so much easier.
We want the flawless, morally pure advocate, or we want the irredeemable villain. It makes the world easier to categorize. But Dion Anderson forces us to hold two contradictory truths simultaneously.
What are those truths?
The toxic behavior is real, and it contributes to a hostile digital environment. The advocacy is also real, and it has a positive, tangible impact on public health. One does not erase the other.
So they just exist side by side.
In fact, you could argue that his advocacy is more visible precisely because his toxic behavior builds such a massive, inescapable audience in the first place.
Because if he was just a quiet, polite health advocate, nobody would be watching.
Exactly. The algorithm rewarded the drama, and he used the resulting spotlight to show an HIV test.
He built the audience using the tools of the Coliseum and then used that audience to deliver a message about public health.
It is a deeply messy, distinctly 21st century reality. You cannot separate the message from the medium that delivered it.
A distinctly 21st century reality. I think that is the perfect way to encapsulate this entire journey, because as we pull all these threads together, the picture of Dion Supah Anderson is incredibly complex.
Let's summarize exactly what we've unpacked today, because it's a lot.
Yeah, please do.
We started with a self-made digital mogul who realized that in order to survive the creator economy, he couldn't just participate in the drama, he had to own the infrastructure.
Right, the Discord, the Bigo ID.
He built the BSK Wrong collection to anchor his digital brand and physical reality. He built the Gossip Girls to control his own narrative and monetize his own detractors.
Then we saw the ruthless competitor, the gladiator in the gamified world of Bigo Live and TikTok, a broadcaster who understood that in an attention economy, friction equals cash.
Who leans into the heel persona, insults his own audience, and creates a hyper-loyal, trauma-bonded viewership. A strategy so mathematically effective that the platform literally crowned him their king.
And finally, we saw the advocate, the openly LGBTQ plus creator who took that massive, chaotic platform and used it to strike a blow against deep-rooted historical stigmas surrounding HIV by broadcasting his own vulnerability.
So why does this matter to you, listening right now?
Yeah, maybe you had never heard of Dariel Supah before today. Maybe you don't even have Bigo Live or TikTok installed on your phone. Why should you care?
Because Daryl Supah isn't just one creator operating in a vacuum. He is a mirror.
He is reflecting the current state of our entire internet culture back at us.
Oh.
We demand authenticity, but we reward conflict with our attention and our dollars. We want our entertainers to be larger than life, but we expect them to live their most vulnerable medical moments on camera for our consumption.
He is the logical conclusion of the systems we log into every day. When we build architectures that monetize human emotion, incentivize outrage, and gamify status through microtransactions, we create the environment that necessitates a Daryl Supah.
We can't build a digital coliseum, hand out swords, and then act surprised when the king of that coliseum draws blood. It all comes back to that live stream. The king, bragging about his wealth, sitting on a digital throne built from controversy and gossip, casually mentioning the glass cups he pocketed from Walmart.
It's the ultimate blurring of the lines between performance, reality, wealth, and chaos.
Which leaves me with this final thought for you to mull over as we end this deep dive. In an era where our digital platforms financially reward the most extreme, polarizing behaviors, is it possible for a creator to ever truly separate their real-life identity from the persona they play online? Or, when you spend years fighting in the arena and the platform finally crowns you the king of a chaotic digital realm, does the crown eventually become who you are?